Hello, I'm Doug McConnell. This is my buddy Mutley, and Vika and Yaka, two orca whales, and we've got a show that's wet and wild for you. Our Wet and Wild Mac and Mutley special features mammals of the sea. We begin our journey off the shores of Hawaii, and we'll sail with the man who migrates with the mighty humpback whales.
What it appears we've got here are two whales that have joined each other, one medium-large size and one about an adult size.
Then we'll meet some people who are giving orphaned elephant seals a brand new lease on life. We'll also introduce you to a couple of fine artists who have a way with posing porpoises. And we'll take you to the great Northwest to meet some captivating critters on its rocky shores. Now, Vika over here is from the Atlantic Ocean near Iceland, Yaka from the Pacific Ocean near British Columbia. Orca whales can be found in all of the oceans of the world, and sometimes they share their habitat with humpback whales. We met a fellow named Dan McSweeney who's been studying humpbacks for about 20 years. In the summer, he follows them in Alaska, and in the wintertime, he follows them off the big island of Hawaii.
You're dealing with an animal that's got a big playground out here, and you don't often have any idea which direction they head. We use the underneath sides of those tails to tell the whales apart from each other. It's a multifaceted fascination. Certainly to find out something that nobody else knows has got a real thrill attached to it.
They are the size of a greyhound bus, the humpback whale. Like too many other animals in this world, humpbacks are in danger of extinction. It's just been in the last 20 years that their population has started to make a comeback. For thousands of years, humpbacks have made the long trip from their feeding grounds off the coast of Alaska to Hawaii, their winter home. Dan McSweeney, a whale researcher, migrates with them.
For the last 15 years, I've been studying marine mammals here off the west side of the Big Island. And for the last 10 years, I've been following the humpbacks that winter here this time of year up to their feeding grounds in Alaska. And using cameras to photograph distinct body markings on the animals, we can tell the individuals apart from each other. Calling Ketchum 1, black whale, WHA 4365.
Dan has spent thousands of hours above and below the ocean surface identifying humpbacks and other sea mammals. His purpose is to document individuals on film and videotape so we all can know more about their migratory routines and populations. This is some of Dan's footage.
For every 100 to 200 hours you spend out here on the water, maybe you get 30 seconds to a minute's worth of underwater footage. And most of the time when we get into the water, we're doing so for research purposes, trying to sex the whales and record some of the behaviors that they do, which we know very little about. But even so, you know, most of what you get are these little squirts of whales swimming by. And then every so often, if you spend enough time, you'll get the one whale that'll come up and practically, you know, run over you and spend a minute or two, which is a long time for a whale to stay around an object. Captain Cook 7, black whale on 6-8.
This is the peak of the season for humpbacks in Hawaii, which means that Dan spends more time on the ocean than in the office. And he's promised us we would find some whales.
We're going to head out probably 3 to 5 miles offshore and go north up into this area where we find a lot of humpbacks and other species. And there's also a project up on a cinder cone hill up there that will be giving us reports of whales offshore. And we'll go up and find them and identify them and describe their behaviors and do some science. Just keep scanning 360 degrees and we'll find something. Look at that. What it appears we've got here are two whales that have joined each other, one medium-large size and one about an adult size. At 40 to 45 feet. The two that were tail slapping and displaying to each other probably as a result of that joining and males competing with each other. Now things have settled down and it looks like one is split off from the other. These guys are real active. Look at that.
By the turn of this century, humpback whales were practically extinct, hunted to death. Finally, in the mid-1960s, a law was passed to protect them, and their population has been growing ever since. Today, thanks to research by dedicated people like Dan McSweeney, we can keep a watchful eye on these great whales, and we can make sure that they will be living in our oceans forever. A lot of people love to go to Hawaii to see the humpback whales, but we shouldn't crowd them. As long as we give them plenty of room, the whales should be all right. Now, of course, whales are not the only mammals to live in the sea. In fact, right behind us here at Marine World Africa, USA in Vallejo, California, are a couple of Atlantic bottlenose dolphins. The biggest one is Chelsea. She's the mom, and the little one is Liberty, little baby boy born on the 4th of July. Right now, he's a couple of months old, and he's doing just great. At birth, he weighed about 30 pounds. Now he weighs almost 100 pounds. So he's very strong, but everybody's watching him here very carefully. He's not out of the woods yet. He'll nurse until he's up to 2 years old. Next on Mac and Mutley, we'll take you to a home away from home for orphaned elephant seals.
This portion of Discovery is brought to you in part by Fancy Feast Gourmet Cat Food.
In art, matters of taste are often subjective. But in life, good taste is well defined. Fancy Feast Gourmet Cat Food. In a bold single-serving can. Exceptionally moist, uniquely delicious. For a gourmet taste to satisfy even the most discriminating connoisseurs. Fancy Feast. Good taste is easy to recognize.
Yep, it's a dull, boring morning. 65 degrees, no wind, no clouds, dull.
Did I heard it through the grapevine? Breeze in the California sunshine. Oh, you know I heard it through the yeah, you know I heard it through the grapevine, yeah. I heard. Whoa, what did he have for breakfast?
Well, the human being on the left is Bucko. The guy on the right there is Artie. Artie is a California sea lion. He's 19 years old, weighs about 600 pounds. He's one of the oldest and largest performing sea lions in the world. Now, sea lions share the California coast with another member of the pinniped family, the elephant seal. Now, elephant seals are enormous. They can be, about 3 times the size of Artie there. But when they're pups, when they're young, they can get in trouble like any other kids. They can be injured, they can be abandoned. The lucky ones are picked up and taken care of by a very special place, the California Marine Mammal Center. What happens when a 5,000-pound male elephant seal goes on a mating mission and a 200-pound pup gets in the way? Well, that's how newborn elephant seals get separated from their mothers during shoreline rush hour. If the orphaned elephant seals aren't rescued by people like Don Smith of the California Marine Mammal Center, they can starve.
If they don't have that full month to nurse, then they don't gain the weight. Their body goes into a fasting mode, and they continue to lose weight, and so they end up being way underweight. Some of these pups come in under birth weight. They're so thin.
Young, underweight elephant seals bear little resemblance to their cartoon-like elders. Now, these fellows tug on quite a few heartstrings here at the Marine Mammal Center in the Marin Headlands north of San Francisco. For 15 years, all kinds of animals have been nursed back to health here in these tanks.
How many people do we have here?
Griff can help us. He's going to help at the back of the cage loading. What we do is we tube feed them for a while until they fatten up, and eventually we teach them to eat fish.
After about 5 months of teaching them to fend for themselves, Diane Smith will help release 4 of the elephant seals today. For Diane, Don, and the rest of the Marine Mammal Center staff, the most satisfying part of the job is preparing healthy 250-pound baby seals for the wild.
What we do is we separate the ones that are going to be leaving out from the rest of the animals, and then we put them in a pen without a pool or a ramp. That makes them easy to get at. We don't feed them the night before because we want them to be a little bit hungry when they hit the beach, so they'll head for the water and go get connected up with the other elephant seals in the wild. Some of them will get right off the beach and go right into the water as soon as they get near it. Others, they'll sit on the beach maybe for even as much as a half a day. The herding boards keep us and the animals separated for 2 reasons. First of all, to keep us from being bitten, and also to get them used to the idea, from being attached to people so they don't get used to direct contact with humans.
This is the lightest one out of the bunch, actually.
Back.
Out of this group, we always like Buddha seal just because Buddha seals, as you see them when they sit up and tuck their neck, they do look like little Buddhas. So.
All body parts out of the way?
Yep.
After they're loaded onto the trucks, the seals get one last lingering look at human civilization. The Highway 101 route to Point Reyes must be the ride of a lifetime for these pups. And as the journey comes to an end, the elephant seals seem to sense that their new home is at hand.
Just set it down. Usually it's a lot better if there's more than one animal that goes at once, just in case one of them is going to be slower leaving. Sometimes it'll see what the others are doing and go out and follow it. So get started.
You ready?
Yeah. Go ahead.
They all have their very own personalities. They're very individual. Some of these guys are real interested in everything you do. They're definitely real individuals.
As usual, there's the one seal that seems to find it harder to slide into home.
Frances is the one, funny-footed Frances is what I call her. She has an extra toe on her front flipper, and one flipper is shorter than the other on the back. She seems to be trying to figure out what waves are all about.
But it doesn't take long for Frances and the others to get a handle on their new world. And it'll be just a matter of months before they put on another few hundred pounds using what they've learned at the Marine Mammal Center. Well, elephant seals are pretty neat, but so are their cousins, the California sea lions like Artie back there. But how can you tell the difference between them? All right, here are a couple of examples. First of all, California sea lions have external ear flaps. Elephant seals do not. Sea lions have big front flippers that they use for swimming and walking around on land. Elephant seals have smaller front flippers. They use their rear flippers mostly to zoom around underneath the sea. Anyway, there'll be a quiz on all of this at the end of the show. By the way, I want to mention that all of the elephant seals that you saw in the story have been released. They're back out in the wild where they belong. Next up on Mac and Mutley, meet a couple of artists dedicated to preserving our dolphins.
The people at Canterbury Clocks realized that to grow, they had to switch gears. So Joe called Microsoft and asked for this free video for Lotus and WordPerfect users. The timing was perfect. He saw how upgrading their software could save time and effort. How with Microsoft Excel they could add profits. And chart their progress. Word for Windows showed them how to communicate clearly and emphatically with their entire organization. Now Canterbury Clocks has more time to build their business. And Joe, he got a big hand. Millions of people like you are making the switch. So call for your free video and see for yourself how Microsoft Excel and Word for Windows are changing the face of how business does business.
If you're thinking of adding a deck or patio this season, right now for a limited time, you can get porches and patios for just $4.99. You'll learn step by step how to build a wooden deck, from starting the platform to completing the construction. You'll also learn how to put in a concrete or brick patio, just like a pro, or screen in an existing porch. Order porches and patios today. Examine it free for 15 days. Keep it for the special introductory price of just $4.99. Other volumes will follow, one about every month. Keep only the ones you want. Cancel anytime. So do the job right and put the big bucks you'd pay a pro into your own pocket with the Home Repair and Improvement Series from Time Life Books.
Call 1-800-342-9555 now to examine porches and patios free for 15 days. Keep it for the special price of just $4.99 plus shipping and handling. Get the expert advice and instructions you need to save money by doing it yourself. Call 1-800-342-9555.
Well, Mutley and I have always appreciated people who have the ability to perceive beauty and then translate it into works of art. Well, we met a couple of people with the talent to do exactly that, and best of all, they've combined it with an incredible commitment to help protect endangered marine mammals.
And what we're trying to bring forward is the importance of the animal, their uniqueness to this planet, and how important it is for all the animals to be appreciated for their uniqueness in the whole scheme of things.
Ann London and John Ballou are partners in life and in art. They devoted their fine craft of intaglio, an ancient form of engraving, to the preservation of endangered animals and marine life, especially dolphins.
There's a lot to be said about dolphins, and we're really drawn to them. Everyone, I think, has an animal they're really drawn to, and we keep coming back to these guys because it would be real easy, you know, to do pretty pictures of dolphins and not show any content, you know, but we want to get a little more across.
We wanted to get away from poses, things like that. Show animals in their environment and interacting in their environment.
There we go. There we go.
John and Ann get close to their subjects here at Marine World in Vallejo, California. Today's project is to create a poster for Project Circe, which conducts dolphin research at the park. The models are a mother dolphin named Terry and her son Pan, who's the first dolphin born in captivity in Northern California.
And get sunburned.
And it was here that John and Ann got their first chance to observe dolphins and other animals when they met Dr. Diana Reese, Director of Dolphin Communication Research.
This area right in here, it should be a little bit more rounded, I think.
Right here?
Yeah.
What do you guys think, huh?
What do you think?
It's been a real pleasure working with Ann and John. I was first interested in working with them because of their ideas about how they might illustrate animals and really increase our awareness in terms of issues of conservation and animal behavior.
After all the nuances of natural behavior are sketched, it's time to go back to the studio where the real work begins. Intaglio is an art form that dates back thousands of years, and London and Ballou are among the few modern artists who perfected it. The process starts with a limestone base that's airbrushed with layers of special paint. Once the base is prepared, then the sketches are composed and enlarged. After the sketch is composed, it's then transferred onto the prepared surface by cutting through a few guidelines. Then the raw surface is revealed, ready for the process that allows for no mistakes, engraving thousands of geometric lines and forming them into a delicate web of lifelike images. London and Ballou work side by side from start to finish. And now, hundreds of hours later, what was once a blank surface has been magically transformed. They've donated their time and artwork, as well as the proceeds from the sales of this special poster, to help raise funds for dolphin research.
I would like us to be able to help out as much as we possibly can with our artwork.
There's something, art is one of the most lasting things about any civilization, and if 200 years from now, they could look back and see some of our artwork. I would hope they would know that here was a society that cared about animals.
Well, in addition to their fine artwork, Ann and John have also published a book with little-known facts and historical notes about many of the animals they've had a chance to observe over their many years of hard work and dedication. Next stop on Mac and Mutley, the Great Northwest, home of the whistling walrus.
Whistle. Girl.
The Big Cat, next on the special presentation of those incredible animals.
When I decided to fix my porch myself,
I couldn't quite believe it.
So, who comes to the rescue?
Well, handy he's not. And since when did you get all this energy?
Ever since you got me started on breakfast with grape nuts. It's like you said, this box is full of great mornings.
Well, look, it's right here. Fat-free, natural energy source. I said try it a few mornings.
And I did. And it does help keep me going. You know, Dad, I think I have inherited your handiness.
Yeah, I think you inherited my toolkit. That's what he's got.
Post Grape Nut cereal helps keep you going strong all morning long.
Yep, it's a dull, boring morning. 65 degrees, no wind, no clouds, dull.
Raising the California sunshine. Oh, you know I heard it to the yeah, you know I heard it to the big body, yeah.
Whoa, what did he have for breakfast? Think about it. Different people have different nutritional needs. So how can you be sure you're taking the right vitamins for you? Your Life Daily Packs take the guesswork out of vitamins. And only Your Life offers proven release. Because if vitamin pills don't release, they can't work. Your Life Daily Packs for women, for men, for special needs. A complete vitamin system customized for you and the life you lead.
Well, this is the tide pool exhibit at Marine World, where people can get up close and personal with fish and other forms of life that live in tide pools along the California coast. Critters like this sea bat here, pretty interesting little animal. Well, about 1,000 miles north of here, at the Point Defiance Zoo and Aquarium in Tacoma, Washington, is a biologist who's making history by saving endangered animals that live along our coast.
Whistle. Good girl.
The Point Defiance Zoo and Aquarium in Tacoma, Washington has been called one of the top zoos in the world. Now, most of the residents in its Rocky Shores exhibit are far northerners, and quite a few of them were animals fighting for their lives before they got here. One of the people responsible for saving them and providing some creature comforts around here is biologist Jeff Zimmerman. He gets to pass out the good stuff, including lots of tender, loving care, something these well-whiskered walrus are quite fond of.
There's more food. Look at. Yeah, no, I know. We don't need you to whistle. Now these two handsome critters right here are Pacific walrus. We've got Georgie here on my left. This is the little female. And the male is E.T., appropriately named based on his appearance. Both of these animals as babies were no more than 50 pounds. You could easily pick them up, set them on your lap, and bottle feed them. And because of that type of handling, they've progressed as very tractable, controllable animals.
7.5 years later, E.T. is 3,500 pounds, and Georgie, at 8.5 years old, weighs 2,500 pounds. But get this, they're both just in their adolescence. Now, E.T. will grow to 5,000 pounds and Georgie about 4,000 pounds. Now, Georgie may be a little smaller, but in some ways, she's a little smarter also.
Give me a kiss. Good girl. Whistle. Go kiss. Good girl.
Well, E.T. may not be as sophisticated as Georgie, but he really doesn't have to be. Jeff's just waiting for the day when E.T. and Georgie will start having babies.
Wave. Good girl.
Speaking of babies, lately a lot of Jeff's attention has been going to the newest kid on the rock. He hasn't gone public and he doesn't have a name yet, but nonetheless, he's making waves and history at the same time.
43 pounds.
He's a 2-month-old harbor porpoise who was found trying to beach himself near Newport, Oregon. Now, we don't know a lot about the harbor porpoise because until now, they've only been observed from boats in the wild.
This whole process of raising a baby cetacean from infancy through a period of time where it's eating exclusively formula or milk into and through the weaning process to where they're on solid food exclusively has never ever been accomplished by anybody at any time anywhere in the world. We're the first to do this.
Jeff says he's guardedly optimistic about this little guy's future, but based on his present progress, it won't be long before he does go public and joins his other Rocky Shore roommates. And as far as Jeff's concerned, around here it doesn't matter whether they're big or small. There's enough love and respect for every creature to get its fair share.
Good girl.
Well, Vika, Yaka, I know you're going to be glad to hear this. Magic, our little harbor porpoise, is celebrating now his first year in captivity, and he is doing great, swimming with the beluga whales up at Point Defiance. In fact, I had a chance to be in the water with him recently, and he's just really, really wonderful. Well, that's our show for this time. We'll be back again next time with some more great animal adventures for you. So, Vika, Yaka, see you later. You guys have been terrific. Bye-bye.
On the low cholesterol picnic special.
My baloney has a first name. It's O-S-C-A-R. My baloney has a second name. It's M-A-Y-E-R. Hey, I love to eat it every day. And if you ask me why, I'll say...
Regularly scheduled program will not be seen at this time. Join us for this